Thank you, Mr. President. I would like to thank Mrs. Regimenti, first of all, for the excellent report that we've worked on together. 1 in 3 women has experienced the nightmare of intimate partner violence, very often at home without the right support or protection. During the pandemic, the number of people affected by this rose, and therefore we've focused on the need to support women more effectively. But the whole spectrum of violence against women has not been taken seriously enough, and there aren't enough statistics to support this. Intimate partner violence against women and children should enter into the equation when decisions are made with regard to custody of children. In cases of domestic violence, very often this evidence is ignored. This is such an important report because for the first time this Parliament is focusing in its proposals not just the impact of violence on the affected women, but the repercussions and knock-on effects on children. The failure to recognize this type of intimate partner violence in taking into account and making decisions regarding child custody is essential if we want a life without violence, and it is in the interest of the child. Domestic violence does not protect women's rights and children's rights because of the risks that this violence, even after separation, could continue. And this is why we believe that custody rights and visitation rights of the perpetrator and the revocation of custody and return of that custody to the mother is the only way to prevent further violence and victimization. Commissioner, this is an emergency, and we are sounding out the alarm in this report here in the European Union. Domestic violence and intimate partner violence against women is something that must be stopped in all its forms. We have to make sure that it is a concern for all of us. We need to nip it in the bud and ensure that we prevent these incidents recurring. We must ensure that ratification of the Istanbul Convention is made by those states that have not yet signed up to it. We need European legislation and a holistic directive to deal with intimate partner and domestic violence. We need to provide access of victims to services, support services and infrastructure. It should be funded by EU funds and national funds, and we need qualitative psychological and medical supports which will include sexual and reproductive health services. We need to train specialized courts, chambers, people working in psychiatry wards, psychologists, etc., to ensure that we provide the right support for women. There must be a compulsory training of police forces in order to ensure that they are aware of the problems. We need a proper mechanism and permanent mechanism to gather evidence and data which can be comparable and reliable so that we can decide on policies for coping with this situation. We need to put a stop to intimate partner and domestic violence against women in order for us to help these women to leave these violent relationships. And there needs to be, therefore, a transparency of income, as is contained as a proposal in this report. We need to provide support to victims in specific cases, such as the present pandemic of COVID-19. Thank you.